In Uganda, honesty has to do with love and protection. For instance, if asked whether your daughter had any children, you would answer no, even if in reality she had had two babies who passed away. To a Ugandan, this is an honest response because your first commitment would be to protect the pain of your child. To a funder, this same honest response might be called a lie or a misleading statement. That funder returning home from a site visit might deny funding due to the dishonesty that was experienced. This illustration occurs all too often in the international setting. Foundations are wary and suspicious of INGOs, while the INGOs feel as though the foundations are finicky and whimsical in their funding practices. And unfortunately, it is those who need the service of the INGO that suffer the most from these broken relationships. In my experience as a practitioner, I have lived on both sides of this scenario. First as a founder of an INGO, and second as the executive director of an international grant-making organization. I became curious about what was causing this disconnect in this relationship. I interviewed people and heard perspectives from both sides, and I found discrepancies everywhere. Foundations and INGOs are just not on the same page, even though they both claim to have the same goals. However, the research showed, among many discrepancies, that metric and evaluations are a very heated topic, and directly linking a correlation with the role of values and sustainable mindset to this discrepancy. While INGOs recognize that metric and evaluations are an important tool for funders to evaluate their success, they feel as though these processes are redundant, labor-intensive, and can be a waste of their time when they're not giving feedback on their reporting. Funders, in turn, have become dissatisfied with the allocation of the resources, not understanding its contextual use and its needs. The assessment of a program often includes the perspective that organizations are being treated as a means to the end and using the organization as a tool to achieve the funder's goals. Rather than assessing organizations based on a single piece of the pie mentality, for example, how sustainable one program is, we need to shift evaluating to how that single piece of the pie creates value and is contributing to the organization as a whole. Shifting this thinking requires two understandings. First, sustainability means maintaining a certain level. It is not about generating or regenerating. It is merely status quo and holds onto a scarcity and depletion mindset. Second, understanding values. Unless there is a numerical number attached to a value, such as x equals 3, the value is subjective and intrinsic. Determining how a value holds a quantifiable factor is challenging. Philosopher David Hume claimed that we act on our emotions and not our faculties of reason. All the data might give us the reason, but our emotions rule our passions. Therefore, we react to our emotions, and our passions move us to react. Similar when we are moved to donate to a charity. However, the opposite holds true as well. Like with the funder in our earlier example who visited Uganda and experienced emotion which influenced them negatively, and then reacted by discontinuing funding. Without a long-term solution, these INGOs are left with temporary fixes. And this is what INGOs mean when they talk about values and sustainability. Because our INGOs tackle social injustices in our world that are massive in scale, it is of the utmost importance that we not press against their positive endeavors by evaluating their efforts with our beliefs, values, and ethical system. So the question is, how can collaboration between organizations and funding institutions effectively co-create significant solutions and systems with economic, social, human, and environmental value for a thriving society? How can we move from a sustainable mindset and maintaining a status quo to a regenerative, thriving mindset? An emerging paradigm, regenerative development, is known to be a value-creating holistic system serving as a link between social and business that architects use in their designs to move past sustainability. Therefore, building upon this regenerative development paradigm, and along with adding human capital, I created a framework that organizations and funding institutions can actively utilize to co-create value, solutions, and systems, and turn the discrepancy into equitable, healthy, and prosperous relationships. For more information about regenerative business development, please feel free to contact me.